Okay, we previously created our grid here based on some key spacing tokens, and now we're going to add those to our design system. So we're in the theme, and we're going to create some variables, otherwise known as design tokens. And these are going to be the spacing, so they're based on numbers. And we're going to call it spacer for reference, and we are going to call it M, that's the first one. In fact, we can use this folder structure too in Figma in order to create groups. So I've just put the spacer group and spacer M, and that's going to be 16. So you see now we've got spacer tokens here, and here we've got spacer system M. Now we're going to use a pretty standard model here, and I'm going to create the rest of the spaces that we're allowed to use as part of our design system here too. Now I use a convention which is not necessarily the gospel. You can use whichever nomenclature you like, but I'm going to call it spacer M, and then if I go smaller I'm going to call it spacer S. I'm generally going to use the 4 pixel factor, so the smallest space is going to be 12, and I'm going to continue to fill those out. Spacer XS is going to be 8. See if I can drag that there. Yes, okay, that works. I'll create a couple more. Spacer 2XS, like I say, it's just the way I do it. It doesn't mean everybody does it this way. Spacer 3XS is going to be 2, because we'll find we do need 2 pixels. So we've got from medium down, and I'm just going to add the rest of the spacing tokens, which I'm going to say L is going to be 20. Just in this system, it's not global. Spacer XL, I'm going to put 24. Let's have a spacer 2XL, so I follow the same format. She's going to be 28. Spacer 3XL will be 32, and so on. And this is a linear pattern, but there are alternatives. But we'll just do this one for now. Now, as you can see, if you remember, in the grid we created 16 and 8 as our reference, and now we're going to add that to the grid so we can link that to our theme in the design system. So if I go back to the grids now, I'm going to open this, and I'm going to have to fix each of these. So this one's 16 height. Now I'm going to use my spacing token instead, spacer M, and the gutter is 8, which I'm going to link to my spacer XS. This one we didn't, but I'm going to change that now to spacer M. So now, as you can see, we have all of our tokens, the variables as they call them here, in the design system and linked to our grid. So now in terms of spacing system and grid system, we are good to go. Let's move on to the next topic and see how this applies to typography.